sorry about this, Dad, who cannot part with any old timber, here's a way you can get rid of some of that junk. A wheelbarrow planter made out of an old fence. Start by making the wheel. Cut 6 pieces of paling and arrange them together so the top 3 sit at right angles to the bottom. Then glue and screw them together. Bingo, 1 square wheel, which is ideal if you're going to take your barra up and down stairs. I'm only joking. What we're going to do is cut a circle now with a jigsaw, roughly 35 centimetres in diameter. Then cut a hole in the centre of the wheel for the axle. Well, our little barra's taken shape. These are the main rails. Little cross member up here, making sure that we leave enough space for the wheel to turn. Bit of paling across this end. That'll be housed into the rail so it finishes flush. And these legs will basically be fitted in underneath here a little bit later on. Fit the rear cross member first. This will set the angle for the frame. The front brace simply sits on top of the rails. Round off the fronts of the main rails, then chisel off the edges of the handles and neaten up with a rasp or file. Now for the wheel, the axle is just a dowel. Put it in position so it doesn't rub anywhere. What I've got to do now is just check that into the rail so that finishes flush. Those little covers go on the top and that'll hold it in place. Next, fix the legs to the rails by screwing in from the sides and the top. Now our box that goes on the top will be made from old palings. It'll be angled at 25 degrees on the side and at the front and the back. Once the bottom of the box is done, put together the front and back panels. Then plane the front and back edges of the tray to about 25 degrees. Now I need to transfer the same angles to the front and back panels and glue and nail them to the base. The sides are made and fitted in exactly the same way. I've also added a couple of braces to the outside of each panel for strength. All I have to do now is screw that down into the rails, drill a couple of drain holes at the front and fill it with dirt. So there you are, an unusual planter box. And even if you have to buy the nails, some screws and glue, it shouldn't come to any more than $15.
Although the face may be familiar from acting, Jeff Morrell has added a few more creative strings to his versatile bow with assemblages, sculptures and collages. So this is a pleasant break away from... What are you doing at the moment?
Still doing Murdercool, a new series of Murdercool, yeah. And it's funny, actually, I play a forensic detective who is also a crime scene officer. And I think there are interesting parallels between this work that I do and a crime scene officer stroke forensic detective. I remember thinking about that last year when I first started researching for the role, and when they tend to walk into a room, they wouldn't necessarily look for the things that you and I might look for. We might be drawn to the obvious.
Dee, you got a shot of the broken wine bottle?
Got it.
In relation to the body?
Yeah.
With wine glasses?
No.
Get them in. As you can see,
There's probably something in that, in the way I sort of look at a beach or at a rubbish skip or something and sort of see something that other people might really see as rubbish.
So where do you get all of this stuff?
It varies. I started off getting a lot of the stuff from the beach. I fish quite a lot on the rocks and on the beach. You know, not bringing home any fish, but bringing home a bucket full of, you know, cuttlefish or wood, or as my kids call them, interesting sticks.
Do you have a real point of view about what you're going to do, or is it just sort of imagination?
It largely is imagination. I mean, sometimes I do. Some works happen absolutely accidentally.
But some of them have a very definite landscape point of view, for instance. And the one over here, this is sort of like a headland or something, isn't it?
Yeah. Very much like the headlands around where I fish, actually, yeah.
The stripes on it, for instance, they were as found?
As found?
Yeah.
That's a perfect case in point, actually. I had other plans for that piece of wood. When I came down here, and I lined up a couple of pieces of wood that I wanted to do something with, including those three. I picked a couple of pieces off it to do something else with, and I almost did a double take. It was that the other way around, and I looked again, and I thought, that's amazing.
Is that a self-portrait up there?
A lot of people have said that, yeah. I think I do a lot of heads, and I think they're probably all self-portraits.
Anyway, this is not what you do for a living, really, is it?
No, and I wouldn't want to, really.
But you do exhibit and you do sell.
I do, yeah. And that's a more recent part of the process. I've put that off for years. I've had people coming to the studio, friends. I tend to live a bit of a hermit-like existence here, but when friends do come down, they've responded very positively and said, you should exhibit. And I say, well, yeah, I should, and I probably will.
Well, thankfully, Jeff is exhibiting. So, if you want to see his work, get down to the Waddy Gallery in Bondi, Sydney on the 2nd and 3rd of May.
After the break, I'll show you how to design your dream home on your computer.